What's up? Hey, hello, everyone. Wow. So today we are back going to be talking about Survivor Season 48, Episode 3. So my name is Rachel.
I'm Alyssa, and the prophecy finally came true. Pizza Guy did become the next Jelinski, so I was kind of happy about that, but also not really happy about that. So I am very interested to discuss this episode because I feel like a lot happened. We got to see a lot of juicy tribe dynamics starting to play out, and that's always fun.
This was a wild episode. I feel like Jeff probably really liked it, a historic episode. But low key, I feel like it's sort of bad when only two people are actually voting out of four from lost votes or shot in the dark. But I feel like because this stuff keeps happening and it makes for a good, fun tribal council, we're going to continue to see it. It really reminded me of the Cluster F Tribal Council from 42 when Mike and Chanel also both didn't have a vote. And then similar thing, it like tied and then was maybe going to go to rocks, but then people flipped. So it really reminded me of that tribal, which was also very wild and we were very pissed off at the time.
Yeah, and I think the thing that made this tribal particularly frustrating was that Justin didn't have any decision in whether or not he lost his vote. Like, he didn't get to decide whether or not he played the dice game. He was just sent on the journey, had to play the dice game, and the dice came up bad for him. Like, I feel like it's just not fun when everything is random chance like that. Like, they kept describing the game as like Yahtzee, but at least Yahtzee has like a little bit of skill. This had zero skill.
You roll the dice and you gotta hope for the best. So we start off this episode. We get some David backstory. Camilla calls David a Chad, but then David says he lives in a trailer that is parked on his dad's driveway. His girlfriend wants four kids and to be that stay at home mom, but they don't have the finances to do so. Time's ticking. David's 38, the girlfriend's 32, and he says, I'll only have a girlfriend if I win $1 million."
Yeah, that was kind of sad because it's also kind of like, why are you two still together if you fundamentally want such different things, or if you feel like you can't give each other what you want? But also, like, I get it because it seems like they really do love each other, and it's just, money. And money's a hard thing to deal with, and it's why a lot of people, I think, come onto Survivor because $1 million is life changing money.
Yeah, it's like they're both realistic, you can't be, I guess, on his salary only and raising a bunch of kids, but they both do want a family and want to raise a bunch of kids. So I guess either he's got to get a new job or he's got to make a lot of money somehow in a different way. So, like winning Survivor, but that's got to be a tough place because it's like, oh, we want to be together, but the thing that's holding us back is money. So then you must gotta like change your job or something.
Yeah, and I guess he said on Twitter after the episode aired that he like has been looking for a different job. He has a pilot's license, but I guess airlines are not hiring pilots at this moment in time, so he hasn't been able to make the job transition even though like he is hoping to get out of stunts. So,
That's good. I felt like this scene was sort of weird to include. I feel like this is one of like the first backstories that we got this season of like, oh, this is like really sad and personal about this player. And to mention that his girlfriend's going to break up with him if he doesn't win the money, it's sort of maybe like, okay, David Winner edit.
or David loser edit, and it's supposed to make us feel bad for him when he does lose that he's not gonna have a girlfriend anymore. But I also hope that that was exaggeration.
Sort of want to see like after the season if David yeah, is still in a relationship or not. Obviously, you can't really post that anymore now because then that's a spoiler if they're still together versus not together since this was filmed last year. But yeah, it just felt really weird to include and it's like the first thing that we're seeing this episode. I was like, this is a weird backstory we're getting.
It is a weird backstory, but I also feel like it's maybe a more relatable backstory than some people's. I feel like um, there's a lot of backstories that are like super duper tragic that maybe a lot of people can't relate to. Like, can't necessarily relate to like your parents having died or like having grown up in a cult, but a lot of people can relate to like not being financially where they want to be.
definitely. So from orange, then we go to purple. The purple team needs some morale, so Joe is going to make them a big bonfire. We see Thomas's eyeball after last time in the challenge when he got rammed in the eye with that big pole stick. And I was like, his bruise looks pretty cool. Like it's a nice looking, badass looking bruise.
Yeah, I forgot that he had gotten rammed in the eye for a minute, and then when I saw his like black eye, I was like, "Oh my god, what happened?" And then I remembered.
Yeah, it's like that's looks good. Looks like it hurt, but it's a badass bruise. But also it's gotta suck. It's like, oh, there's no mirror out there, and maybe you try to like fashion something. It's like, I want to look at my eyeball. What's it look like? Everyone's just describing it to you, and you don't get to see it till this episode, or maybe after the season, but maybe it's healed more by then.
Yeah, but that was a cool little badass moment for him.
Yeah, so then we see Eva gives Joe a bracelet for Joe's daughter at the bonfire, which just in general, like, okay, very sweet. For Survivor, in front of everyone, not so much. Then we get that Thomas confessional about Eva being Joe's little sidekick. Maybe we need to vote Eva out.
It was giving jealousy to me. Just like Thomas was so salty about the bracelet. He was like, "You just cut the beads off your water bottle and dyed a bow." And it's like, Thomas, take a chill pill. But yeah, I do think that definitely Eva is starting to get some heat this episode.
Yeah, she's definitely becoming a target, and doing it in front of everyone might also paint a target on your back. Because even though, okay, bracelet doesn't really mean anything, and you know that Eva and Joe are a pair, people are gonna be like, "Hey, I didn't get a bracelet. I low-key want one, and that's not fair that he got a bracelet." So then, yeah, Thomas is very salty.
Thomas is very salty, and I feel like, it's interesting on a tribe of 6 people because since the California girls are 3 members, and then each of the 3 members, I feel like, kind of have a different person who they're closest to. So then it's like your alliance becomes your entire tribe, basically.
True. And then Eva also gets some heat when she's asking Star if Star found the idol. Star says no, but Eva knows that Star is lying to her here. And then Eva says, "Oh, I don't think we need two puzzlers on this tribe. Maybe we should vote out Bianca or Thomas." But not knowing that Star likes Bianca and Thomas and is working with them. And then Star goes and throws Eva under the bus to Bianca and Thomas.
Yeah. That whole thing was just kind of like, ugh. I understand why everyone behaved the way that they did, but I also was like, come on, Star, Eva's trying to work with you here, but mm.
I thought it was funny when Bianca was like, "Well, we don't need two jacked people." I was like, "That's sort of funny. No two puzzlers, no two jacked people."
No two of anyone. Really, they only need 3 people on their tribe.
Yeah, keep going to tribal. Bianca also says us three are on the bottom, referring to her, Thomas, and Star. And then she's like, those three are on the top. But I was like, how is that bottom and top if it's three versus three?
Yeah, I don't know either, especially because you do need 4 votes to get someone out. I also disagree with Thomas being on the bottom. Like, if you had to pick a bottom 3, I don't think Thomas would be in it. So,
Yeah, I would say the women in the bottom three. It's like Bianca loses her vote this episode, Star is getting heat, and then Eva's getting heat.
everyone's getting heat this episode.
So then, because she shared the information, Thomas says, "Hey, maybe we should help Star get the idol." We don't see Star unlock her idol this episode, but I do wonder, like, does she get the idol before the swap next week? Maybe we'll see that before they go swap. But what happens if Star doesn't get the idol, like, and she gets switched to a different beach? Would she always just like lose her vote until the merge, or how would she get the idol?
I think it would be funny if the idol just like never um got claimed. Like if they go to not her beach and then they still don't go to her beach for the merge and she just has to live with the fact that she could have had an idol and never gets it. So
It'll be interesting to see what the mechanics are, because it's like with this kind of thing, you can't just go hide and rehook those pegs, the like keys that they have to unlock with the little parchment paper. You can't just stick those animals on the new tribe trees.
I mean, you could. It would just be very hard. They'd have to like do it while they were away at the immunity challenge or something.
Yeah, it's like, oh, our animals changed. So,
Yeah.
speaking of idols, we see Mary also looking for the idol. Since Say played hers last week, they're like, okay, it's probably going to get rehidden. Mary says that she hates looking for stuff every time she loses things. She hates looking for stuff, but she's willing to go looking for the idol. And then we see Say follow Mary around like Rome followed Saul around, except Mary likes it.
I gotta say, Mary talking about not liking looking for things made me laugh because I also don't like looking for things. But I do the opposite where I will just like keep looking and keep looking and keep looking. And normally I find like five other things that I've been looking for when I'm looking for the one important thing. So
That's good. That's helpful then.
it is helpful. So I feel like maybe Mary should try that.
How do you make it like that you like looking?
I mean, most of the time it's like something that I like cannot lose or something that I immediately need. Her example of like losing her wallet and just being chill with it, I was like, that is not something that I would be like, oh, I'll just Venmo you later. I would like tear my room apart until I found the wallet. So
True, and she said it's when they're going out, which I would maybe I would assume you're going to the bars and you don't have your ID.
maybe she never gets carded. I also like I don't like driving without my driver's license. So if she keeps her driver's license in her wallet, I'm kind of like, Mary, are you just driving illegally?
So Mary says that she likes Say following her. She says that the more she follows me, the more I respect her. Say is telling the men that, hey, we need to go follow her so she doesn't find the idol. And then we see like Mary running away from Say and then Say chasing her. And then other scenes where like they're standing still and then Mary just starts running away. I was like, this is so funny because they look like two little mice like running around in the woods.
I did think it was funny that Mary thought of it as like a game because I feel like I'm not sure Say intended it as a game. So Mary just being like, "Oh, this is so much fun. This is a nice little game that we're playing." I was kind of like, "Good for you finding the positive in this."
Yeah, like cat and mouse chasing game or like tag, maybe. Mary was saying it was fun. Say says that she respects Mary. Mary's hardcore. And I really want them to work together, especially since neither got voted out. I want to sort of see that enemies to lovers, the enemies to friend arc here, and maybe they can work together.
Yeah, I feel like they're probably it would be interesting because we're going to a tribe swap next week. I feel like I would like it if they were swapped to the same tribe, but Cedric got to be on the other tribe just because he deserves to like have a break from the two of them, in my opinion. So
True. Like
yeah, I want
Yeah, I want to see them maybe be swapped to the same tribe to see them work together. Hopefully, maybe they both make merge and they work together. But I would want to see Say and Cedric swapped on the same tribe because I feel like based on numbers, like you would have to like be friendly with the other green person since there's only three of you and you're probably getting split. But low key, Say should try to get Cedric out because he voted for her almost three times tonight.
yeah, I feel like Cedric made the wrong choice by keeping Say around, but I'm sure we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to the final tribal council.
Yeah. So back to Orange, we see Kyle and David, they're in the middle. I think this is probably maybe setting us up for some tribe swap dynamics. Kyle and David are in the Siva 4, which is Kyle, David, Chrissy, Camilla. And then Kyle and David are in the Kyle, David, Charity, and Mitch alliance. I think it could come into play in the swap of like, okay, Kyle seems pretty powerful. We get this confessional from him where he says, I'm a good spot money alliances, and I also have an idol. And what we said last week, he better not use it against Camilla since she got him that idol.
I do think it's interesting though, because sometimes we see the people who are in like the best spots be the one who kind of flame out the hardest because they get cocky. And like you really have to be careful of like not just assuming that everyone is still going to be with you, because like maybe he gets swapped onto a tribe where people like other people better than him. So
Yeah, or you're just unlucky numbers like 321 or 42 or something bad. But the idol should be helpful if he gets swapped into a poor position.
it's helpful if he knows that he's swapped into a poor position.
True. So we get to the immunity challenge. It is a blindfolded challenge. I don't really like blindfolded challenges like this. I'm glad no one got hurt.
Yeah, though poor David, it seems like he got the most bonks because he got a bonk to the head and he got a bonk to, Jeff says, someplace he won't forget or something like that. And I was like, that's a nice way to put it, a nice PG way to put it.
I was thinking from the start of the episode, David saying his biggest goal in life is to have family, to have kids. I was like, oh, maybe this is all that it was meant for, and he's getting hit in the balls a lot, like he can't have kids or something. And that's the full circle.
That would not be a very fun full circle.
No. So Cedric, Shaheen, and Camilla, they are in like the hero spot. They are the callers. I think this is interesting. I feel like you have to strategize who the caller is. Like you want someone with a loud voice, but also someone who has a distinct voice, someone who can be good at that puzzle at the end of the challenge. Because if it's like three men up there, that might be harder to understand versus like, okay, Camilla is the only woman up there. You just listen for the like girl voice, but then it might be harder to hear because it's more high pitched.
Yeah. I wonder if they considered that when they chose their callers or if it was just like vibes.
Yeah, who's good at slide puzzles?
That too, because if you have the voice that can carry, but you don't know how to solve a slide puzzle, you might be SOL.
True. So Joe just like memorized the course. He just walked straight to that first bag. It was really wild.
It really was. I thought it was fun though. I don't know. I feel like this whole thing would have been more fun if there was any chance that Green would have won. But like once they fell behind, like in the very beginning, I was like, oh, this is it for them. They're cooked.
It was also so funny when like the caller had to lead all the blindfolded people to the puzzle area. They're like leading them like little ducklings behind. And then when the caller's working with the one puzzle person, everyone else is just standing there blindfolded like NPCs and like staring off into space. Like it's just so funny looking at the people in the background just stand there.
Why aren't they allowed to take off their blindfolds?
That's true. Maybe, yeah. It's like just leave the puzzle person blindfolded, but like the other two could be unblindfolded because they literally were just like standing there still in the background. Like you can't even clap because you don't know what's happening.
Yeah. I also thought it was really funny after they finished the puzzle when the blindfolded person would like put their hands up and be like, Jeff, even though they have no clue whether or not they are like the one, whether or not they actually got it right. So,
True. Shaheen did a good job on the slide puzzle. He finished it very quick. They got first place down to orange and green. Orange got second and green got last. So sort of sad, three tribals back to back for them.
yeah. It does call into question kind of like the tribe balance of it all, because I feel like if the tribes truly were balanced at the beginning, then there's no way that like one tribe should have been so entirely decimated. And I think when we like started um doing like our tribe reactions, we even pointed out like, oh, it looks like one of these tribes is obviously like worse off physically than the others. So
Yeah, I feel like we said green would be the hot mess tribe. It just like gave those vibes. And I guess sort of it is because they keep losing.
yeah, but also if you're the hot mess from like on paper to the very end, it's kind of like maybe someone should have fixed that before the season started.
Yeah, it's like maybe switch some of the men out and give them like one of David, Shaheen, Joe, one of the stronger dudes.
Yeah.
So, since Purple won, they get to pick who's going onto the journey. Purple picks Bianca from their tribe, and then Justin and Camilla from the two other tribes. And Jeff says you can't pick someone who has been on a journey before, they can't go. I wonder, I feel like, is this the first time we've seen that rule on TV? I feel like it's never been said, but maybe like it's a rule that they just don't say on TV.
I feel like I've heard that rule before, but I could not tell you like which episode or which season it was set on.
Okay. Yeah, I was like, I didn't know that, but it does make sense because we haven't really seen people go on double adventures. And for this too, for Justin, I feel like it's not good to be the person that is going to tribal and then also gets sent to go on the journey. Like you could lose your vote, and then you're also missing out on strategy talking time because you're away at the journey. I feel like it's just a bad spot to be in to get chosen to go.
Yeah, I wish we had gotten to hear a little bit more about why they chose the people that they chose because they said like, "Oh, we chose the person from our tribe because they hadn't been on a journey and wanted to go." But like the other people, did you just like go on vibes? Like, I wish we had gotten to hear more of that strategy.
Yeah, I feel like I always want to hear that strategy like, oh, you think that person's on the bottom, you think they're cool, you want to help them out, you just like their pizza shirt. Like, what is the reasoning there? Or it's like, oh, I hate that person, let's try to get them eliminated.
Though I would hope that you would not say, um, like, "Oh, we're sending this person because we hate them."
No, definitely not, hopefully. So their game, they have to roll 7 dice, and then 4 flames means extra vote, 4 skulls means you lose your vote. You are forced to play this game. There, like, usually is a like option, like, okay, you get the choice to risk it or not. So sort of unfortunate Justin is going on this journey and then also forced to play the game where it's sort of basically just down to luck whether you win or lose.
Yeah, like I said, it feels bad because that's kind of the whole reason that he went home today. And so I just, I didn't like it because he didn't choose to go on the journey. He didn't choose to play the game. He didn't obviously choose to lose his vote. So it just
Yeah, like
feels
at least
bad
in
to
the
me.
other like cluster F tribal when in 42 Chanel chose to play the game, so then she lost her vote and then people are like that's so dumb, like you need to save your vote. It's like a small tribal and not that many people are there. So here we even hear Justin in a confessional before the journey saying like, yeah, my vote is so important. I don't like want to lose it. I wouldn't play the games. So yeah, it just sort of sucks. There's no choice to play or sit out and you are chance to lose your vote.
Yeah, I wonder, like, whose idea was that?
The mean powers that be.
So true.
But Bianca loses her vote, Camilla wins. She gets an extra vote, and then Justin also loses his vote. I thought it was interesting that all three they told a different story about like what the game and what the prizes were. So I'll think it'll be interesting come swap or merge if people compare notes about the different journeys and it's like, oh, what did your person tell you what the journey was? What was like the advantages, XYZ.
Yeah, I feel like that could get into dangerous territory because then you don't know who's lying and who's telling the truth. I guess if you had three different stories and two of them matched and one didn't, you could probably figure out the one that didn't match was the truth, was the lie. But like, what if three people told three different stories? How do you know who's telling the truth and not?
Yeah, it's like here they all three told something different. I feel like maybe they'll be able to fact check because Camilla and Justin both said you're rolling dice, but Justin said you can win comfort, shelter, or food or nothing rather than lose your vote, win an advantage. And Bianca said it's like the rope obstacle course. So I feel like that is going to be like the weird one out if two other people said it was dice related.
I do think though, Justin's is a lie because he didn't tell anyone that he lost his vote. And so I feel like if I were Justin's tribe mates, I would then be kind of like, I don't know how much of his story to believe. So
True. Camilla, she was honest with everyone because Mitch was honest with everyone. I feel like that can be good for like her tribe and like building that tribe camaraderie. And it's like, okay, Mitch did it. So if you didn't do it and then people caught you not telling the truth, it might put you in a sticky situation. But I feel like this could be bad coming up for her in a swap and it could be used against her like, oh, she definitely won something, she said so. Mitch definitely has something, he said so. Easy to vote them out. But maybe on the other hand, you're like, oh, she's very trustworthy, she literally told us the exact challenge and things she won, just like Mitch. They're forthcoming with information. So like low key it could go both ways, but I could see it being used against Mitch and Camilla.
I do think though, Camilla kind of made it seem like she didn't have a choice about it, and I was like, "Girl, you still have a choice. Like just because Mitch told the truth doesn't mean that you have to tell the truth." So I was kind of interested to like hear her explain more why she felt like she had to, just because like you never have to do anything. She's like, "I guess my tribe are all just too nice to each other," and I was like, "You can change that. You have the power."
It might be you're thinking like, "Oh, if it comes out later that I'm lying, then it looks bad because then people will think I'm a liar." Sort of, I feel like it's like Bianca and Thomas. Bianca didn't tell her tribe she lost the vote, but she tells Thomas. Like Bianca was being truthworthy, trust and like telling the truth to Thomas, but then Thomas lied to Bianca last time. Thomas didn't say that Thomas had won something in a journey so I do wonder if this comes up again. Like, would Bianca feel hurt that she told him, but he didn't tell her?
Yeah, I kind of hope that it explodes in Thomas's face. I did like after he was like talking about that, he gave like an evil laugh and they like had his evil laugh like reverberate as they zoomed out over the like view of the island. And I don't know, I kind of like Thomas as an antagonist character. I thought that was fun and I feel like him not telling Bianca will set up for some conflict.
Yeah, because like from her point of view, she's was scared to share it, and then you find out later that, oh dang, you didn't tell me, and I shared you all this information. I'm in a vulnerable spot because I don't have an idol or I don't have a vote, and you didn't share anything with me. So I'd be a little bit suspect if my alliance partner did that.
I mean, it's kind of like what we saw with Cedric and Justin, where
Mhm.
ultimately Justin not telling Cedric the truth was the reason why Cedric sent Justin home. So it would be a fun little parallel if Bianca sent Thomas home because he didn't tell her the truth.
Justin's lie definitely comes up in a big way later. So maybe it's better to share with your tribe that you lost your vote. But I feel like you can't really fault Justin for that because I feel like so many things had to go wrong for him to make that lie become a problem tonight. It's like, okay, you need the 1 in 6 chance, and then you have to do all these votes. It's like usually his vote might not be so important, but definitely still important, as he said.
Yeah. So it was kind of a comedy of errors for Justin, where it was like he lost his vote, but then Mary had the shot in the dark, and then they revote it. Just poor Justin.
So we go back to camp, the losing team. Mary is out swimming. Her goal this afternoon is to be as cool as a cucumber and to act like she has the idol or found some kind of advantage. This is scary for the other people because, oh, that's sketch. Why isn't she out looking for the idol? Maybe she found something, or maybe she's just acting really well, trying to trick us into thinking she found something. Say because of this wants to split the votes in case Mary does have something and she wants to put a vote on Justin. Cedric is like, no, Justin's my guy. I am not going to put a vote on him.
I did think it was funny that Mary, after knowing these people for all of 7 days, was able to predict exactly how they would react to her like going for a swim. Like she like must live rent free in Say's mind for her to be able to predict so easily like how Say would react. So I just like props to Mary for that.
It's good. I was like the good acting. It sort of tricked people, but not really because they did end up putting 2 votes on her. I do think it's good for Say that she didn't split the votes and there was 2 votes on Mary in that first vote because, okay, they're thinking she maybe has an idol, but people are leaning more towards her not having an idol, and then to split the vote because of the shot in the dark hitting, it's like such slim chances, and I feel like we've talked about it before where people sort of mess up their game because they're throwing that vote on someone in case of shot in the dark hitting, and it's just such a small chance. Like, if you really believe Mary is bluffing here and doesn't have anything, you'd stick the votes on her. And like the only chance it's like, oh, if she like did have the idol and like she did vote. But yeah, if you think she's not lying here, then it doesn't make sense to split. Because then you're
Yeah.
ruining your relationship with Justin, and maybe he does have a vote, and then it's 2v1.
I do think it would be interesting if this created kind of a girl who cried wolf thing with Mary, where the next time she actually does get an advantage, people don't believe her because she's acting the same way she acted when she like didn't have a real advantage. And I think that would be another fun mind game to play.
I agree. I think that would be fun to see play out. We go to tribal council. It started at 9:07, and I was like, this is sort of early. Usually we don't get the tribal council until like 9:15 to 9:20, if that. So I was like, something spicy must be happening because we're here very early. The first vote happens, not much talking happened prior. And Mary plays a shot in the dark and it hits safe. This is the second time that it's hit safe and actually negated the votes correctly. The first time being Caleb in season 45. So I thought this was exciting because it was correct and it messed up the majority's plan.
I also agree that it's exciting. I feel like we've talked before how a lot of times, like the threat of the shot in the dark is what changes people's plans, and then the actual shot in the dark doesn't normally like work that well. So it was really exciting to see the actual shot in the dark work. And also, I love the like pizzazz of it all. Like Jeff like saying this is a shot in the dark and then opening the scroll. Like, oh, I love it.
It was fun, and since we went to tribal so early, I was like, "Ooh, this is probably going to hit safe, and then it's going to be drama afterwards." This first vote after Mary is safe. So Mary didn't cast a vote. They're going to read the votes. There are 2 votes, only 2, and they're both for Mary. So there's no votes. And at this first vote, no one is really, we don't see people realizing that Justin hasn't voted yet, although Jeff says 2 votes. And then they go into the next vote, and we get 1 vote for Say and 1 vote for Justin. And this is where Jeff has to say Justin didn't vote in any round.
Yeah, I was kind of confused about the fact that no one realized that the first thing, because Jeff even says like one vote left. He doesn't say like,
Yeah.
and this is the majority. He says one vote left. So I was kind of confused by that. But
Yeah, no, I noticed that too, because it's usually like, oh, second, third person voted out, not this is the last vote.
though he would have had to read all of the votes regardless, because if it was 2 votes of Mary and then like 1 vote for someone else, and someone else would have gone home.
Yeah, that's why it's like, okay, maybe red flags are going up for people, but they're probably so excited, adrenaline from Mary hitting the shot in the dark safely that maybe you don't notice, and then you're panicking like, oh no, us 3 have to turn on each other now. So we get that 1 vote Say, 1 vote Justin tie. Jeff has to say Justin doesn't have a vote. Say, because of that, you get to vote in the revote because Justin doesn't have a vote. And so, like, as a viewer here, I'm like, "Oh, it's going to tie again because Say's not gonna vote for herself. Say's going to vote for Justin." And now people gotta realize that Cedric was the one that voted for Say, and he said in the episode he's not voting for Justin, so it's going to tie again.
Yeah. I do wonder how long their pre-tribal discussion was, because Jeff says like, "Oh, for the first time, I'm going to cut off tribal council and I'm going to make you guys vote." And like I didn't know if that was because they had been talking for so long, but I feel like if they had a really long conversation before the votes even started, that might also explain why people were kind of behaving weirdly, and also maybe why it was harder for Cedric to like pick a side kind of.
Justin did say that this was maybe like the longest tribal council ever, so maybe it could be before Mary played the shot in the dark, but maybe it's all this stuff after that happens. I feel like because it's going to tie a second time, but like low key, they're definitely not running the numbers in the moment because that would be like way too hard. But like low key, it doesn't matter if it ties again because Cedric gets to decide either way. Like if Cedric really wanted to save Justin, he has to vote for Say twice. And then in the talking period, once it tied that second time, Cedric gets full control of who to decide. Like usually you have to convince everyone and make it unanimous, but because Cedric is the only one left, it's like if he doesn't pick who's going home, he himself gets eliminated, and that's obviously not going to happen.
Yeah, I do kind of wish that they had let him go and vote again on his own because I feel like the choice he made would have been different. Like
Mm.
having to say to Say's face, like, I'm voting you out versus just writing her name down. I feel like emotionally it feels different. So I would have, in an alternate universe, I feel like he votes Say out.
I feel like he should have. I think this is bad for Cedric. Like, Cedric wrote Say's name down twice. Say gets to work after Cedric is like, Say, I don't really like you. I want to vote you out. And then Say is like, Justin lied to you. Did you know he lied to you? I told you the truth the entire time. And I thought that was very good. Like, getting emotional versus like Justin, what he is saying is just like, do what's best for you. Like, you can come to the restaurant later. It's less of that emotional pull compared to Say. Like, Justin saying a lot of stuff got cut out of the episode, but like from what we saw, it felt like Justin needed to really stand up and pull more and not be so chill about it. Like, it's okay. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, I didn't like the way that they handled it. It kind of felt like emotional manipulation when she like started crying, and I was like, it made me uncomfortable to watch. So I preferred Justin's like low key response, and I feel like there's almost like a reverse psychology to it, where like, do you want to be with the person who's like sobbing on you, like making you feel bad, or do you want to be with the person who's like, yeah, dude, like do what's best for you? So
Yeah, I feel like from Cedric's point of view, if I were him, you've got like Justin who's chill. It doesn't seem like he's going to be pissed off that you vote him out single-handedly compared to Say, who is like crying and like saying the Justin stuff to you. I feel like Say would be so pissed off at Cedric if Cedric eliminated her, and she might be mad at you in real life that for Cedric, it might just be easier to eliminate Justin because Justin's not going to be pissed off at you in real life and will be chill about it.
yeah, that's true too. I also really hope that we get to see a photo of Cedric at the pizza parlor.
Yeah, because Cedric is like, say, I'll keep you on one condition if you and Mary can get along. And then we just see Justin sitting there. Like, hopefully it got edited out and he was fighting more at that point in time because it just really was like, dang, this actually worked from Say, and Cedric is going to keep her after voting for her twice. That is wild.
Especially because it's like, it's not like if Say breaks her promise that he can then be like, oh, psych, I want to actually go back and vote Say out. So I, having a conditional thing just like does not make sense to me.
Doesn't really make sense to me either, especially like why are you voting out your number one right-hand man? Like you said, Justin is your alliance member, your strongest connection out here. Like just because he lied to you about losing his vote, but you're gonna keep Say, who is creating drama on the tribe, and saying, yeah, if you get along, okay, great, I'm keeping you. But like you're saying, you don't have to get along. Maybe they just don't want to get along.
Yeah. They they both said like, "Oh, we need to work on it," but I feel like with the tribe swap happening, they're both going to forget that they're supposed to work on being nice to each other.
Yeah, I think this is doubly bad for Cedric. Say said Cedric is honestly the worst. Cedric basically was going to vote for Say 3 times here and eliminate her this episode. I want to see Mary and Say work together, and I think Cedric's going to get voted out soon.
I hope that Say gets voted out soon, just because I feel like if they're kind of setting up a Say versus Mary like arc, and I want Mary to win that arc.
Feel like it'll be interesting to see Say on a new tribe and how that works out because she's very like dominant here. She created that alliance with the three guys. She's very out there running around getting the idol first. So it'll be interesting if she's not in the dominant position. Given that Green only has three people, you're probably getting tribe swapped onto the bottom. Like, how does Say act in that situation? Because if she continues to be like this and where she's rubbing the people the wrong way and like fighting with people at tribal council, she's gonna get voted out.
Yeah, I feel like getting swapped to a new tribe is definitely going to be interesting for her because I feel like the other tribes might not be as tolerant of her actions.
Yeah, it's like Say's gotta be like good, friendly, nice to everyone. I feel like for Cedric and Mary, that's like less of an issue. It seems like they can get along with a bunch of different kinds of people and like talk regularly and not fight with people. So I think that'll be very interesting to see how Say can navigate the swap when she's not on the top.
Yeah. I'm really excited for the swap. It feels like it's very needed so that Grain does not continue to lose, lose, lose. So I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, me too. I'm excited to see what happens next time. It's always fun and exciting. It's the new era swap happening. Hopefully, the tribes aren't too like lopsided with the swap, but it'll be fun to see next week. So let us know in the comments down below what you thought of this episode. Did you like the tribal council? Did you like the move that Cedric made? Or do you think he should have eliminated Say here? Let us know in the comments down below. Thank you all for watching.